All right. It is Friday.
It is Friday.
We are fired up.
We are fired up.
So this is Fired Up Friday.
This would be Fired Up Friday.
In fact, it is.
There we go.
All right. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yes. And I'm
halfway through the year.
And why does it feel like, on a certain level, like, what have I done?
Amen. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, I still have that. And even though, like yesterday, and shout out to Lance, Tyler, everybody, Mr. Thank You. Like,
I had lunch with him the other day, and it was so cool. I loved having. Yeah, what a cool guy. He's one of those guys like we've been circling each other's world.
Yes.
For like years, but never actually. Yeah, exactly. Kind of like you and I. Yeah. And finally, we're like, we should do lunch. We did, and man, I love that guy. And here's my favorite thing. Kind of like you and I. My favorite thing about Mr. Thank You is like we actually had a real conversation. I'm so tired of BS conversations. You know, it's like, how are the Cowboys? Like, I don't care. They're gonna lose. You know what I mean? Like, why are we talking about this? I don't care about the weather. I don't care about the Cowboys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love having real conversations, and it was so cool to just be like, here's what's going great, and by the way, here's what's not going great.
Yes.
Here's what I'm working on. We talked about spirituality. We talked about kids. We talked about all the stuff.
And it's so crazy. So, like, I think yesterday was the third time that I've actually seen like one of his official presentations. And the cool thing is it's different every time.
Yep.
Or it's substantially different. You know, it's substantially different every time. And he is so polished.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that I really, really now, you know, having done, 1,000 dog and pony shows and done the bullshit small talk thing or whatever countless times, to see somebody this like,
so
okay.
was it polished and he connected, or is it just polished?
Yes, which I was just going to go there. I was going to say, like, because the thing that I really recognize and what resonates, to use that lingo, was the fact that obviously the slide deck was constructed,
right?
You know, and there was a there was a formatted game plan, and the stories were intentionally inserted, but there was something in the delivery and in the telling that it just works.
Yeah.
You know? And then when you get people crying in the room or whatever,
that's perfect.
I'm like, bro.
Yeah, no, we haven't really done our work till someone's cried. No, everyone makes a joke, like whenever we do a retreat or whatever it is, like we don't get to leave till, Wayne won't let us leave until somebody cries, so we may as well just get out of the way.
Yes.
Because they know that that is part of it.
Well, and I love, it's so weird too, because now that, and even like when we do this, I've had such a, oh my God. Hey, Power Home Remodel. Hit me up later. I do need new windows, though. Just throwing that out there.
There we
like,
go.
These guys are doing it wrong. So the whole thing of what I see now and what resonates and what I relate to is that sort of realistic thing. Because like after we've done, so dude, I think this is 32 weeks in a row.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And so
minus the 1 or 2 when I was in Canada. Yeah. And my co-host, who's in Canada, who is not here.
Although we kept it good, where we didn't Skype in and we didn't do like.
There we go.
We were talking about that earlier. Like it's the quality footage.
It really is.
And audio. Yeah. Well, in today's world, because dude, again, I'll give it public props to you for like your editors are on point. Yeah. Because it's like I'll recognize a sliver of the footage and I'll be like, oh wow, what did I ask him? Whatever that, what was that little? So there was a nugget of gold that came out. I wonder what I asked to make
so
that.
good, so good.
But then comes the graphics and all the shit that I don't have time for that makes me jealous.
It's so much work. So shout out to AJ who spends all day doing great stuff.
Yes, so, which you cannot put. I mean, yes, of course you could put the cost, but there's no price on that. It's priceless in having the good content on the back end. Yeah, what we were saying earlier, where. I do give, props and kudos for anybody out there that's trying. Yep. But it is 2024. Let's dial it in a little bit. Yeah. Like even here where it's the monkey house and we're just kind of going crazy. I'm always shocked. It's like, wow, that actually sounds really good. Now, whether or not there's any meat on the bone.
Well, and everybody starts off as a hobbyist, and then we need to move into a professional. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it was interesting. I was asking a group that question last week. It's like, where in your business are you a hobbyist and where are you a professional? So it's like with managing your money, are you a hobbyist or are you a professional? With your content, are you a hobbyist or are you a professional? With your schedule, are you winging it or are you a professional? Like, and everybody, there's levels to it, but hopefully we're moving towards professional at everything. But I think it's good. The question for you is like, it's mid-year. what are the things that people should be doing right now to kind of like take a breath? Because what I find is it's like people just kind of run right through it, and they don't give a second of pause to be like, what's working, what's not working, am I on track, am I not on track? Like take a breath, even with content, right? Like assess like what's working, what's not working. But I find people just like run through mid-year. We got kids, and I mean it's crazy. You know what I mean? All the stuff. It's funny. I was doing a Zoom with my doctor yesterday, and both were like, her kid ran in the room, my kid ran in the room, and I'm like, this is summer. You know, we're probably out of snacks because it's been 8 minutes since we've been to Costco. You know what I mean? Right? But like it's wild. But you gotta stop and go. Like I think that it's intentional reflection is one of the biggest growth opportunities. And most people do haphazard reflection, which is like, yesterday sucked, I'm going to try harder. Don't know what that means.
That's actually in my day planner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just do more, try harder, hustle, porn, go.
Yes. Yeah. More.
Yeah.
Pull-ups or, like Goggins, pull-ups. So for me, it is having that outside, almost not entirely objective third party, but where like they have, what was I saying? It might have been hustle porn, but it was like no, it was actually John yesterday, Mr. Thank You.
Yeah.
Dude, full circle, like right away. So John said yesterday, because his whole thing yesterday was about relationships.
Right.
And it was about, is it transformational or transactional?
Interesting, yeah.
And the whole thing was, okay, the transformational ones are the ones who they're going to call you on your shit, but not in a way that is, like, all the guys that I were friends with when, as a kid, we would bust on each other because that's what we did.
Right.
But we weren't trying to help each other.
No.
It was just like...
You just saw the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit him.
Yeah, bam. So that gives you a little bit of a thicker skin. But later on, to have that kind of come into the grown-up world where it's like, okay, this person is going to call me out on... And now I pay people to do that where it's like, okay, my CPA is going to just beat the shit out of me every Wednesday on a Zoom call. Now, thankfully, we've got 2023 sorted out.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah, it was like
That's
one of those...
amazing.
And it was like, just a slight confessional. It's like, okay, what you were saying, like I was a hobbyist on... As it pertained to like quantifying and really doing everything with the business, because it's like there's that part of like, well, if I look, then it's real,
right? Exactly.
But if I just keep
going,
and periodically glance over my shoulder, I could probably do that for a minute, you know. And it turns out but when the runaway train is going, it's like, well, that's fine. Whenever you're just you're in the front, and it's like I'm in the engine car, and it's just like we're just hauling ass, and it's like, oh, it's running away, but it's like, wow, okay. But sooner or later, the caboose and all the baggage cars are going to catch up and like just. So that's kind of where I've been for the last 2 months. Yeah, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's an expensive light, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not fatal. That's the other thing. Yeah. But that whole thing of I'm horrible at it. It's like I will literally go 7 days a week, and I don't know about you because like you've got kids and everything. So holidays and summer, that means like totally different things for you folk. But like, not gonna lie, it's like I love like a 3 or 4 day weekend when the rest of the world is like on pause.
Right,
or
you get extra steps.
Oh, dude, I feel like okay. All right. Oh, it's like we just added 3 rounds to the 12 round.
Yes.
Now we're back to 15 rounds like in the 70s.
Absolutely.
Which, when you think about it, though, in the 70s, okay, that 3 rounds that was always a 15 round fight, boy, dudes came out of that damaged, where I just popped into my head the Randall Tex Cobb versus Larry Holmes, where Randall Tex Cobb took the most savage beating of any human I've ever seen, but wouldn't go down. And Larry Holmes, who people forget, like that dude was an artist as far as boxing, and just pieced him up and peppered him for 15 rounds. And so like for rounds 13 or 13, 14, and 15, it's like, bro, you got less than 0 chance. It's like all you're doing is just making all the swelling bigger. But it's like there's a reason why they took it down to a 12 round fight, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And so like, but I'm like, oh no, I got 3 more rounds now.
Yeah.
Get
them in.
Yeah. So now for you, what do you do as far as, because it's like I admire the wherewithal and the ability to look at stuff.
Yeah. Well, and what we do with our clients is, and we do this every quarter, but we do it real hard in the middle of the year, is we go back through the Heroic Life Planner. So we actually have a planner, and it's online. So they go in there and they update a bunch of things. So we update like our wins. So they actually write down like, hey, I actually had some wins so far this year, right? Because most of us don't remember any of those. So they write down some of their wins. Then we actually do like, there's a whole thing where they kind of audit themselves. It's like on a scale of 1 to 10, and there's like 20 different items. And they rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awesome. On like finances, on exercise, on joy, on excitement, on hobbies, on kids, right? All these different things, and it's not meant to be punitive. It's just meant to create awareness, right? So if I have like 4 quarters in a row where like fun was at like 2, like that's probably a problem. You know what I mean? And then other people are like, right? So it's not meant to be punitive. It's just meant to create awareness of like, okay, looking at these areas, what's good, what's not good, right? Just to have that moment of awareness.
So now how do you differentiate? Because I will immediately go to either punitive or at the very least judgmental.
Yeah.
So like I might not be just totally kicking my own ass, but I will absolutely.
So I'll never be a 10, right? Like in every category. Is that what you mean? Like ever. Right?
Yes, exactly. Like what, the 7? Well, okay, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing. We're doing 7s.
Yes. And my 7 now is probably a 38. Compared to when I started.
Right.
Years ago.
Right.
So I think it's just a balance. That's why like I say, don't get too attached. But if every number is a 3, like you probably just need to go give yourself a hug. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Like if you're on this call right now, you're probably not a 3 in every category. Okay. But it's just meant to create awareness, which I think is really healthy. Because a lot of times people, we run this race where like I'll have fun someday, or I'll relax someday, or like I'll find joy someday, and it's like we got to figure out how do we do that. Like this is the whole life right now. Right? How do I enjoy this? Not that it's all about fun, but like is this what I want? Or is there like some elusive down the road thing? That's never showing up.
Yeah, it's like if this, then that.
Yes. ...
Happy. Because I lived that way along. But like now, I wonder sometimes, and like right here, right now, like what we're doing, this is the most fun I have all week, and it's like completely seat of the pants. You show up, you're down the parking lot on a call or whatever, and then
you always see me down there. I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, he's wrapping up like 5 coaching calls at one time. Yeah,
well, it's like
shout out to Tommy, great call.
I picture you like you need like a custom truck that has like a 32-inch monitor in the dashboard.
But I want one of those eco vans where like I have a driver, and in the back is just everything. It's like fridge, monitors, what I mean?
Goals.
Hashtag, everything. Yeah, little espresso machine.
And you have like a command chair.
I want, actually, that's what the desk, I would remember when we were kids, we had those little things, the play things, you roll around it. Like your mom just set you down in the middle like a donut. And it wrapped around you. You had like the thing here.
Yeah, the walker.
You just kind of spun around. Yeah, the walker, but had like toys everywhere, right? That's the desk I want. I want someone to just plop me in the middle, and I just like spin around. It's got like an espresso machine and my computer, and maybe here's an Xbox. Let's not, we get carried away.
But it also those also have the benefit of like now there's like a couple of feet between you and the rest of the world.
It's like my little personal bubble. Yeah. And I just want to have a warehouse as an office so I can just roll everywhere. Right? Just roll. Yeah, there we go. But further down that path, another thing we have them do is write out bucket list items. So here's what's funny. We all say, oh, that's on my bucket list. Like we've all said that to ourselves. Oh, it's on my bucket list. But I'm like, do you actually have a list? Nobody actually has a list.
Yeah.
Like no one's actually written any of this stuff down.
It's just a thing you say in the moment.
Right. We're like, oh, it's on my bucket list. So here's what's crazy. I have people once a quarter, they go to their bucket list because it's part of the thing, and they add some things to the view. And here's what's mind-blowing. People, like, even this week when we did it on one of our group calls, shout out to Fuel, by the way, $47 a month. It's freaking insane. Or $97 a month, sorry. 50% discount for people that just caught me on that. $97 a month. But it's awesome. So every week we go through this kind of stuff. And what's amazing is people start filling out their bucket list items, and they're like, oh, shoot. Like, I can actually do some of these. Or like, man, this one doesn't actually cost anything. Why haven't I done it yet? Or this one I could do this year. So like, just the process of them like thinking about it and writing it down, they're like, oh my gosh, I can actually do a bunch of these. Where it's just amazing how many times we have those things in our head, but because we've never got the intentionality behind it, they never happen. So just that beautiful intentionality part is amazing,
dude. Well, and like for me, all of my old bucket list items were just ridiculous. It's like, I want to do ketamine at the fall equinox at Stonehenge.
I want to kiss a girl in every country in the world. I mean, yeah.
Well, the trick there would have been to just go to Epcot Center and try to make your way around.
There you go. Just a big sign. Bucket list item. Actually, somebody's probably going to do that. So just fill it and let us know.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Dude. So the other thing that I always wonder about is because I'm at a place now where I still have this, taking it back to Mr. Thank You or whatever, where I have this gratitude and there's a little bit of shock and awe where I'm still like, we're doing the thing yesterday and it's like, Lance calls me up or whatever. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I get to talk. And meanwhile, I'm just like shooting video or whatever. But it's like, wow, this is so cool now that like old me couldn't have even fathomed to put that on the list. And then the other thing is like when I'm not bullshitting when I say like, this is the most fun I have. Yeah. So the idea that like, okay, am I just twisted because I love this? I love the doing
I think it's amazing.
And I get recharged like, yesterday and today is literally going to be studioUSA East, where we are this very moment, and studioUSA West later today. That I'm like, wow, now that that's a thing, one of the things I joke about is like, I have problems in areas that I didn't have areas.
Yes. Yeah. Well, here's two cool things about the kind of mind. First off is you've already 10x'd. And somebody says something the other day, they go, you already 10x'd. Like, think about a time in your life, right, where now is a 10x version of where you were. You know what I mean? So you could do it again. But the other thing is, like, you already achieved things that you said were going to make you happy, so you may as well enjoy. Right? Like, enjoy where you're at. And then the third one I said too, and I'm going to add a third one. The third one is I think the middle of the year is a great time to check the blind spots. So it's like, I love what I'm doing. Oh, okay. Am I missing in relationships? I love what I'm doing, but like I forgot I wasn't checking the money, right? I love what I'm doing, but oh crap, I haven't been to the gym in 6 months, right? So it's like, I think it's a great time to just kind of check the blind spots and go like, everything is good. Is it everything good though? Like, and just kind of take a moment, look around intentionally, and then set course for the next 90 days. And let's go kick butt and take names.
And now, what do you think about, so I try to practice this sort of, hyper pragmatism with myself.
He uses big words, and I don't know what he means. Like, I pragmatism of the anthology of the third dispensation. I don't know. Use small words.
That sounded biblical.
It probably was. So shout out to Calvin.
So what I mean there is, like, for example, whenever there's a situation where I would beat myself up under normal circumstances, I come to the realization it's like, you know what? I'm never going to be the guy that goes to the gym. So then I sit with that for a minute. Yeah. And then now it's like, as a little bit ago, I had a shot of turpentine, otherwise known as exogenous ketones.
This is almost a podcast of one. He's like this. We almost lost you.
Oh, dude,
please do not sponsor us.
Right,
the ketones killers.
Or put some flavor in there, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Although there is the just a detour. And there is the study and the logic behind the shittier it tastes, the more effective you think it is.
Well,
so these guys are winning. Whoa. But so the pragmatic thing, this kind of falls into that where, okay, I'm never going to be the guy that goes to the gym. Okay. Never. Just not me. However, I am aging rapidly, but I course corrected. Yeah. And so like, after a week or two on the road with Daniel Lang and the crew and having a killer restaurant
just
meal.
Red Bulls and brownies.
Oh, dude. No, it was like gigantic sit-down restaurant meals at every turn. And
came back twice the man you left us.
Oh, dude. And like, I mean, I don't have a whole lot of real estate.
Yes.
To like, like 7 pounds on me is like 70 on somebody else.
I'm not overweight. I'm just short.
Right.
I'm just vertically challenged. If I was another foot, we'd be good to go. Yeah.
It would even out. So like that's me. And realizing that like, all right, dude, 11 pounds or 13 pounds on me is a completely different human. And so I structured that to where I only eat once a day.
Right.
And then now I never have to worry about the gym. And as a result, I will never feel bad about not going to the gym or working out.
Love that. So here that's so good because here's one of the things that we talk about a lot, especially middle of the year, is getting out of should. Right, so how many people walk around? I should. Right, I should go to the gym. I should do this. I should, and they end up shoulding all over themselves. You know what I mean? Right, and they end up having this like shitty life because it's just
almost cussing never goes out of style.
Amen. There we go. Shout out to not losing sponsors. All right, but like they have this. They should everywhere, And I'm like, just like to your point, like let's either make it a hell yes or make it a hell no. And I'm kind of okay with either one, but like let's make it a yes or let's make it a no. But living in that middle of should land is exhausting. So with you, it's like I would love to get better at golf, right? But if I would go, I should go golfing, I should go, like I'm just gonna be miserable because guess what? I'm not going golfing, right? Like it's gonna happen once this year. It's gonna be terrible. Hopefully, whatever. But it's not gonna. So get out of that and get clear between here's my interest, which it's cool to be interested in stuff, but here's my commitments, and get either a hell yes or a hell no. And kind of like back to relationships, like Mr. Thank You's talking about, like I'm about the hell yes relationships, which means there's some hell no relationships, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, and just on even the business side, where it's like, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, had somebody just complaining and beating up my people,
right?
Which I would never seen this coming, but it's like I'm very territorial and very like all of a sudden I turn into Mama Bear, and I'm like, oh, like somebody wants ass kicking, and so I'm telling Cruz, it's like my knee jerk reaction is like, let's just get violent, let's go Clockwork Orange on these people, and I'm like, give me your, and I'm like, I get off the phone with him. Because it was like one of the new gals that was kind of getting beat up or thrown under the bus, and they were like super mean and shitty to her. And then it becomes, I'm amped up now. It's like 9 o'clock at night, dude, and it's like I'm wanting to tangle, and I get off the phone with him, and then I just have that little moment of clarity or whatever where I exhale, and I'm like, no, that's not the play.
Right.
The play is, and then I text it because I'm already telling the editors, do not edit this job. These people don't get shit. And I'm just unloading on everybody that has nothing to do with the situation. And then I catch my breath. I relax for a second. I'm like, no, that's not the play. The play is that's a hell no client. But in order to have the ego-driven moral superiority in this situation, in order to have that, it was, no, edit that job. Now, Cruz, you go tell that lady, here, not only can you have the stuff, you can have it for free. Don't ever call again.
Right. Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I was like, ooh. And then, but I'm able to step back and go like, that's a hell no. We're not taking that deal. Just we're not taking that. And it's like, if that sends us out of business, well, then we don't deserve to be in business, But it was that hell yes or hell no versus like, oh, please don't not like us. Please call us and treat us shitty again. Over and over again. Please, give me the opportunity to have you beat up one of my girls again. Nope.
No.
But man, that's a learning process to get to that place.
It really is.
And I had that, like, it was the two wolves.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Where, okay, I'm afraid to not have, the one wolf is like, I'm afraid to not get the money. And then the other wolf is like, Grr.
Well, the other thing too is like you've earned the right to say no to that stuff. Right. So like because of the quality, because of the relationships you built, because of the business you built, you can say no to that stuff and it's not going to sink you under. Right. So many agents are like, well, I can't fire this person. And I'm like, you can't fire them because you didn't do your job, meaning you haven't lead generated enough or taken care of your database enough to have the ability or the power to say no to the idiots. Right. So you can, you got to earn the right to say no to the business that doesn't serve you. Right. Because if you have one client, you're kind of screwed. Right, like, and they're going to treat you however they want to treat you, right?
Man, yeah, you're low hanging fruit, bro.
Exactly.
Well, and that's that old thing too, where if you look hungry, you go hungry.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And, man, it's just such a weird kind of universal cliche or whatever, but it so fits in the thing of the more that I'm at a place where I don't need any one thing to happen or not happen or whatever to make me okay or make it like we're in business or we're not in business or whatever. Man, it is just it's a different atmosphere.
Yeah, it really is. And in a lot of its perspectives, somebody said the other day, like, their rejection is God's protection, right? And that was kind of their mantra. And I think that's kind of a good way to look at it. I did a really cool interview with Jacoby Maxwell, who's out 17,000 miles away in Lubbock, which is so close and so far away. It's so far away, right? It's like 6 hours. Anyway, I love Lubbock. I love when I get to Lubbock. I just don't like the getting to Lubbock part.
It's like there's so much of Texas that is like it's on a loop.
Yeah,
where like you could literally just be sitting in a car with the screen going by.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing for 8 hours. Anyway, I love them out there. But what's cool? What was this? Oh, anyway, but one of the things that I think is so powerful about him is he always assumes that he knows he's going to figure it out. He's like, I know this is going to work out, and his mantra is like, I know it's going to work out. I know I'm going to figure it out, and he has some time on task to be able to prove that. But that's his thinking, right? It's going to work out, right? Just like their rejection is God's protection. It's like your mentality is like, and I think it goes back to knowing yourself. Like, I know I'm going to figure it out. I know that I'm going to pull it off. I know that one way or the other we're going to get through this. I don't always have but like I have no certainty that we're going to get through it. You know what I mean? And people are like, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? And I'm like, we can plan, but like, I know at the end of the day, guys like you and I are going to figure it out. The world goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yes.
The robots take over. We'll figure it out. We'll start making robot parts. I mean, we'll start coaching the robots.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm a robot repairman.
Yeah.
So now, do you think that is learned behavior on either side of that?
I think a lot of it is some people had parents that conditioned that in them, which is beautiful. Most of us, it was learned along the way, right?
Yeah.
Like we built that self-confidence and I don't think you can get self-confidence by reading bumper stickers. I think you get self-confidence by doing a hard thing.
Yes. So
and
like
doing a hard thing.
My personal mantra on that is evidence breeds confidence.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because again, hustle porn 24/7.
Yeah.
I love it. But the thing is, at the beginning, that might be the thing that lights the fire to get you to do something. But it's the doing something
that actually,
then,
you know,
and also knowing one of the reasons why I love MMA
Yeah.
is that nobody ever retires, other than Khabib, you know, but nobody ever retires undefeated.
Right.
You're going to get your ass kicked.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's like, what happens then?
Right.
You know, which is much more realistic
Right, for sure.
than somebody in. Now, I love boxing, but in boxing, when you have like a Rocky. That does like he retires 49. Rocky Marciano retires 49-0. Or
I'm gonna pretend like I know, but yes, absolutely, yeah.
The only heavyweight champion ever to retire 49. But the thing now, retroactively at least, it's like, oh man, he fought tomato cans. He fought a bunch of setups that preserved that. Where when MMA, they're like 2-man enter, like that whole thing, it's like you're gonna lose,
right?
Or odds are high that you're gonna lose. Well, that's a lot more realistic, and so the idea that evidence that breeds confidence comes from the winning and the losing.
Yeah.
Learning that it's not fatal.
Right. Absolutely.
I go like even watching like John yesterday, watching that and going like, whoa, that dude is buffed to a perfect shine, and all of the things hit versus like I think back to like my first handful of dog and pony shows. Right. Where, dude, the clown car might as well have just pulled up and I just
got questions.
Yeah, and I just roll out But now you look back and it's like, it was funny when I sucked.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
Or when I sucked more than I suck now.
Absolutely. You just did it.
Yeah. And there's something about that, the Nike cliche or whatever, but the just do it thing.
Absolutely.
There's something about that builds not only the confidence and everything that comes with that, but it's like it cannot be taught. It cannot be transmitted.
Yeah.
That it is a thing that like you either learn by doing or you don't.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just do it with intentional reflection.
Oh.
Right? So like that's
well, you just now we just went to 3D
right,
chess.
Now we just went to 5D. There we go. Right? Because it's like, just do it and like intentionally reflect. What did I do good? What did I not do good? What do I never want to do again? What do I want to always do again? Right?
Yes.
Like I think the intentional reflection, that's where the magic happens. Because it's the haphazard reflection. Like, man, I did a terrible job at that class. Right? Like that doesn't really serve you. That doesn't help anything. So if you do massive action with intentional reflection, then you're unstoppable.
I like that. And now I know myself and I know that I should do that. Or I should do more of that.
Yeah.
Because it does pay dividends when I do.
Absolutely.
But like there's that thing of like, oh, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So like how do you balance those? So like we'll kind of dovetail it, we'll bring it around to like end it on how do you balance that intentional reflection with the we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And marry those two because both of them are I'm finding out.
Yeah.
It is the early returns are that both of those are necessary to take whatever it is you're doing to the next level.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so like I'm poised at the next level. Like right now, it's just like, oh, my hair's on fire, my ass is catching.
Yeah,
We got East and West. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So how do you marry those two?
Now, I think you realize it's a recipe of three things. It's mindset, skill set, and effort. And you got to consistently work on all three. So it's a massive effort. And then the mindset is like, hey, what am I doing good? What am I not doing good? And then it's like, what do I need to intentionally skill up on? So I think it goes, I guess one way to go is like go from vague to specific. So people are like, I need to get better at whatever, videoing or whatever it is. It's like, what specifically do I want to get better at? And then take massive action on that. So I think it's the clarity and being specific. But really, it's those three things. If you have your mindset, your skill set, and your effort, if you got those three in line, I mean, watch out. We're going somewhere.
Well, that's a perfect spot to end. Yes, I'm gonna replay that, and I'm gonna work on that, and I still won't go to the gym.
That's okay. 80%'s in the kitchen.
Right, dude? Yeah, you can't out train a bad diet.
That's it.
Woo! All right, dude, I love it.
Love it. Appreciate it, brother.
Hell yeah. All right, Peter, takes out.